I'm joined now by our London correspondent, Olly Barratt. Good evening, Olly. Just a horrific attack in Nice, 3 killed in a knife attack. Tell us a little bit more. What is the very latest that you're hearing on this?
Yeah, that's right. French police having to investigate yet another attack with a suspected terrorist motivation. Certainly Emmanuel Macron believes that that is what is the case. He's called it directly an Islamist terror attack, and he says that France will not surrender to what he's described as the country's core values. He has been visiting the Notre Dame Basilica in the city of Nice. We're also seeing, though, extra police put on patrol at churches and cathedrals up and down the country in France, with the country also moved to a higher level of terrorist alert. The suspect in the particular incident in Nice was shot and has been detained by police. Anti-terror prosecutors now have opened an investigation too to try and work out exactly what has taken place in this specific incident, but certainly it is one that has again shocked Nice and has again shocked but not surprised France, I think we can say. French media are saying that they believe that the attacker is a 21-year-old migrant of Tunisian origin. Authorities have not at all confirmed that yet, but we did hear from the mayor of the city of Nice earlier describing the attack as Islamo-fascism, and also suggesting that police have told him that the suspect had repeated endlessly, in the mayor's words, Allahu Akbar. As you say, that other attack in France and Saudi Arabia today gives a wider context to all of this, which is that in recent days Emmanuel Macron, the French president, has been embroiled really in a row with much of the Middle East. He's been engaged in an exchange of insults with the Turkish president Erdogan too. So whether that context plays into all of this, authorities are not being clear about yet. They don't want to make that connection quite this early, but the other broader context, of course, to all of this is, as you mentioned, recent terror attacks in France stretching back now a number of years.
And of course all this coming at a time when France seems to be in a second wave of COVID-19. I think more than 36,000 cases in one 24-hour period this week. France going into another lockdown, so is Germany, Italy also considering the same. So it seems that the whole of Europe is now moving into the second wave.
That's right. Tens of thousands of new cases every day in several European countries. Crucially, though, we're also seeing hospitalisation and fatalities rising as well, and a number of different types of lockdown now being reimposed across the European continent. France is perhaps the toughest so far, and not too dissimilar from the lockdown that we saw back in March and April, and at the peak of the outbreak. Schools will be staying open, for example, in France, and non-essential retail, but a lot of other things will be closing, as Emmanuel Macron said that the country needs to get on top of this outbreak if hospitals aren't to be overwhelmed. Germany's lockdown is being described as lockdown light. It is nowhere near as stringent, but then cases are at the moment lower than they are in some other European countries. Here in the UK, calls on Prime Minister Boris Johnson to consider a national lockdown. He continues to say that the regional approach is the right way to go, those tiered levels of restrictions. 9 million or so people in England at the moment under the toughest Tier 3 restrictions. And to take it back to that sense of lockdown spreading across Europe, those tough Tier 3 restrictions in the UK are also actually not that dissimilar to what is being described as full lockdown in some other European countries. So you're quite right to say that the second wave is certainly spreading across the European continent, and scientists certainly in this country are warning the government with predictions that we could see more fatalities in this wave than we did in the first one.
Thank you very much. That's our London correspondent, Olly Barratt.